So behind the wheel of the G80, excuse me, very powerful engine, this 3.5 liter twin turbo. And I drove a G90 with this powertrain and the e-supercharger. And that's meant to ride about as luxurious as limo. So it doesn't feel as sporty as this powertrain does. But the G80, to me, I think it's the best of both worlds between the G70 and the G90, because the G70 is luxurious, but it feels more sporty. And the G90 is super powerful, but it's just meant to be the pinnacle of luxury. And this is right here in the middle. So it's not a G70. I should say it feels faster than a G70, of course, with the 3.5 liter. And then this still feels almost as luxurious as a G90. Just in terms of the controls, how everything is set up. But the G90 is just it's a different animal. But this, if you want to save 20 or 30 grand as opposed to getting a G90 and not miss anything, this is pretty much the way to go. Now, you don't get your massage seats, and you don't have heated cool for the back. You're missing a few things, but it's a bunch of stuff that you won't notice if you've never had it. But this is just it's a strong car in terms of performance. And I'll show you that here in a moment. Let's get into sport. Let's just put in a Sport Plus mode. And you can already tell it's ready to go. And it sounds good. Now I'll get a chance to open her up here. But super quick. And still rides relatively smoothly, even in this Sport Plus mode. And it just, in this Sport Plus mode, this thing turns into a demon, it really does. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. So you got to take it out of Sport Plus mode, which I always forget, to use the Smart Cruise, but you can do that there. And then in the Sport Plus mode, your bolsters, without even having to adjust them, go ahead and stiffen up because it knows you're about to get a little crazy. So that's pretty neat. It does that in some of the Mercedes vehicles, so I'm impressed that Genesis threw that in there. And every time I drive a Genesis vehicle, I always think of a Mercedes equivalent that it's trying to take out. But I feel like the G80 is right in between the S-Class and E-Class. If there was a hybrid there, maybe like a CLS or whatever, they got maybe a GT 63, the 4-door. But I mean, for the money, you're saving quite a bit as opposed to getting a Mercedes. Don't know if it'll be as fast because you do get the bi-turbo V8 with a lot of those Benzes, but still, if it were me, I'd go with this. If money were an option, if it weren't, I'd probably go with the Mercedes. Because the only thing it really has on this car, in my opinion, is I haven't driven a GT yet, but I've driven several Mercedes. Genesis does, I feel like they have Mercedes test cars that they just dissect to make theirs just as good. Because again, every Genesis I've been in, I'm like, dang, they're trying to be just like fill in the blank with this Mercedes. But for the money, you can't beat it. It's still a great bargain. And honestly, the only reason it seems like this should be less expensive is because they used to be Hyundai, but there is no remnants other than maybe the infotainment system, like the nav screen. There's nothing else that reminds me of a Hyundai. And you're certainly not getting this powertrain with a Hyundai equivalent, but a fantastic vehicle, great performance and great comfort. So this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Genesis G80.